bicyclist anymore, although I was, of course, all the way through, I guess, the first 4 decades. When I was in law school, I bicycled in Boston, but not actively anymore. But I am a walker. Not so much a hiker anymore, but just urban walking, and you know, that nice slow move through your neighborhood where you get to really see your neighbors' houses and their gardens, and I think it's quite lovely.
Besides your neighborhood, where do you like walking?
On San Vicente, you know, with the flame trees, I always liked that very much, all the way from 26th out to the beach. Mm-hmm. A lot of people ask me during this campaign, what are you going to do about the traffic? Mm-hmm. And my answer to them is always, I'm going to try to get you out of your car. But I have an old Porsche that I've had for 50 years. I love that car and I love to drive it. So I always say, if I can get me out of my car, I can get you out of your car. So how do we do that? The answer is, I'd like to take public transit. I have to be able to get to it and from it whenever I'm going to do it. Let's say I want to go to the Hollywood Bowl. I have to really make a lot of plans for public transit, although I could go on a bus from Westwood. So let's say I have to get to Westwood. Let's say I'd like to take a train downtown. I would have to be able to get to the train station, hopefully without driving, since they're not building any parking in the new stations in Santa Monica. So I want to make certain that the Big Blue Bus or something like a dash system exists everywhere so that I have a seamless trip. That would be my goal. I think if it was more than 4 or 5%, it would be difficult to get it passed, because most people are not used to thinking of walking and bicycling as part of what they're paying for in terms of transit. They're thinking about themselves and their own mobility. I think this is true of most people. So they want to know the money's going for trains. Okay, we're going to have a fantastic network of trains. Now maybe we do want bike lockers so that you can ride your bike, because hopefully there'll be so many bicycles you can't even bring them all on the train. Something that allows you, as I said, to get to and from. I think, but more than 4 or 5% may discourage a vote for people that think it should all go for trains.
Right. And what about, do you think any of that money could be leveraged to help cities with, say, major sidewalk repairs? I know LA's struggling with that right now.
It would seem to me, just from what I know about voters, it would seem to me they might see that as hijacking the funds, because most people feel that cities are already responsible for sidewalk repair. Why are we hijacking transportation funds for sidewalk repair? Why aren't the cities doing that? Well, the main thing that I did and took the lead on really had to do with rent control. From my point of view, it's a very important aspect of affordable housing, because it is not only affordable when you move in, it stays affordable. And that was a very important thing. We lost the battle about vacancy deregulation. Because
You're referring to the Costa-Hawkins law.
Yeah, Jim Costa and Phil Hawkins, a Democrat, Blue Dog Democrat, and a Republican, brought this bill so that when a unit is vacant, the rent can go up to market rate. It's not held by rent control. And we fought and fought and fought and fought and lost that one. However, we protected rent control in those areas that want to adopt it, kept expanding the ways in which people could adopt it, and some of those were my bills. So I would say that was sort of my great leadership position about affordable housing. The second thing is, again, I was not the lead on finding different ways to finance affordable housing, but I generally was a co-author on bills that used, sort of for mixed use, a lot of innovative ways to be able to create affordable housing. And now we also worked, when I was in the legislature, to bring the idea of services for homeless people and affordable housing closer and closer together, because now everybody's talking permanent supportive housing for homeless people. And permanent supportive housing is affordable housing. It's very, very, very affordable housing. So I think we started, though I was termed out before we finished it, we started the idea of that seamlessness in several of the bills that we did where you could use this money for a broader range of uses. I think that the supervisors have a lot of opportunity to use federal and state funding for affordable housing to, as I expressed, bring people out of homelessness, keep families from being homeless, doing a lot in terms of subsidies, in terms of actually building units and continuing to build units for permanent supportive housing and very affordable housing. On the MTA board, I think we have to pay attention in terms of all the transportation funds to what we do to encourage people to live near transit. I don't know you can do much more than just sweeten the pot.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are three aspects. One very long-term goal would be Valley to LAX. Alongside, underneath, whatever, more or less in the direction of the 405.
When you say long-term, what time frame are you looking at?
Well, you know, I can say 2035,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know.
Right.
I think you start now and you don't, and you keep asking why isn't it done yet. There's a lot of construction fatigue in my constituents along the 405
Mm-hmm.
Because of all the construction. They're not generally wildly enthusiastic about seeing more of it now, but there has got to be a way to get from the Valley to LAX. And lots of great stops in between. I mean, you've got the Getty and the Skirball, you've got UCLA and the VA. I mean, it could be a wonderful transit corridor. So that's one. The second is there needs to be an evaluation about whether the Orange Line would do better as a train. People really like the buses generally. Some people complain, oh, they're too crowded, oh, they're not clean, but I rode on them over the past year. Most of them are very nice. So it's not clear that we need a train, but I think, frankly, the capacity of a train would be more attractive. So that could be a second project. And then over in the Northeast Valley, though I'm not sure exactly what the route would be, I think there needs to be a north-south line. We would have never done away with streetcars on the red car. We wouldn't be using the same kind of transit, obviously, but the mindset would not have gone away in terms of public transit. If I could wave a magic wand, I would make Firestone tires and Standard Oil disappear and not allow them to buy up the streetcars and tear up the tracks. Because it is the car fetishism in LA that really led to our demise and our traffic. Not our demise as a city, we're very vibrant, but in terms of transportation planning, it was just cars, 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 cars. And smog. If you lived through the time when literally you could not see across the street because of the smog.